Whispers of War Within, Unraveling the Contradiction of Human Self-Destruction. Chapter 1. Psychological Factors. The psychological aspects contributing to self-destructive behavior delves into the deep-rooted questions of human nature, free will, and the pursuit of meaning and happiness. Within the realm of philosophy, self-destructive behavior raises profound inquiries into the human condition. Firstly, self-destructive behavior can be seen through the lens of existentialism, a philosophical movement that emphasizes individual freedom and choice. Existentialist thinkers like Jean-Paul Sartre argue that humans are condemned to be free. In his public lecture from 1945, he was quoted saying that man is condemned to be free because once thrown into the world, he is responsible for everything he does, meaning we bear the responsibility to choose our own actions, irregardless of the influence of religion or society. In this context, self-destructive acts might be viewed as a manifestation of an individual's attempt to assert their autonomy and assert their existence, even if it leads to self-harm. Furthermore, the concept of nihilism, which questions the inherent meaning or value in life, can be relevant. Friedrich Nietzsche famously proclaimed that God is dead, suggesting that traditional religious and moral values had lost their significance. In the absence of clear values, individuals may grapple with a sense of existential despair, which could contribute to self-destructive tendencies as a form of rebellion against the void. The pursuit of pleasure and avoidance of pain is paramount. However, some individuals may engage in self-destructive behavior due to distorted perceptions of what brings pleasure or relief. An addict is always convinced that he or she needs more drugs in order to feel better, but in actuality, the drug is doing more harm than good. This distortion might be rooted in cognitive biases or psychological trauma, leading individuals to choose actions that bring short-term gratification, but ultimately result in harm. The paradox of self-destructive behavior raises questions about the nature of human desires. In the philosophy of desire, thinkers like Epicurus argued for the pursuit of pleasure as the highest good. However, the concept of self-destructive desires challenges this view, as individuals may knowingly engage in actions that harm themselves, suggesting a more complex interplay between desires and suffering. Let's also consider the role of society and external influences in self-destructive behavior. Existentialist philosopher Albert Camus explored the absurdity of life and the idea of the absurd hero who confronts the meaninglessness of existence with defiance. In some cases, self-destructive individuals may be viewed as attempting to rebel against a society they perceive as absurd or oppressive. Examining self-destructive behavior from a philosophical standpoint raises profound questions about human existence, autonomy, and the search for meaning. It underscores the intricate interplay between individual psychology and the broader philosophical underpinnings of human nature. While philosophy offers valuable insights into the understanding of self-destructive behavior, it also reminds us of the need for empathy, compassion, and a multidisciplinary approach to address the complex and deeply human aspects of this phenomenon. Chapter 2. Social and Environmental Influences. Exploring the role of social and environmental influences in contributing to self-destructive behavior from a philosophical perspective raises profound questions about the relationship between individuals and the societies in which they live. From a philosophical standpoint, society can be seen as a complex web of norms, values, and expectations that shape the lives of individuals. The philosopher Jean-Jacques Rousseau, for example, famously explored the concept of the social contract, suggesting that individuals surrender certain freedoms in exchange for the benefits and security of living in a community. However, this social contract can sometimes impose oppressive constraints on individuals, leading to feelings of alienation and despair. Self-destructive behavior can be viewed as a response to the alienation and disconnection that individuals may experience within society. Existentialist philosophers such as Jean-Paul Sartre and Albert Camus have emphasized the sense of isolation that can arise from the absurdity of existence. In such a world, individuals may turn to self-destructive acts as a way to assert their individuality, or to escape the suffocating conformity imposed by society. Moreover, the philosophy of alienation, as articulated by Karl Marx, points to the estrangement individuals can feel within capitalist societies. The relentless pursuit of material gain and the commodification of human labor can lead to a sense of disconnection from one's true self and purpose. Self-destructive behavior might be seen as a rebellion against this dehumanizing system, an attempt to regain a sense of authenticity and autonomy. From an environmental perspective, the philosopher Martin Heidegger introduced the concept of dwelling to emphasize our relationship with our surroundings. When individuals feel disconnected from their natural environment due to urbanization and environmental degradation, they may experience a profound sense of emptiness and loss. This disconnection from the natural world can contribute to self-destructive behavior as a way to cope with the loss of a meaningful connection to the environment. Additionally, social hierarchies and power structures can play a role in self-destructive behavior. The philosopher Michel Foucault explored the dynamics of power and how institutions can exert control over individuals. Those who feel marginalized or oppressed by these power structures may resort to self-destructive actions as a form of resistance or protest against their perceived subjugation. Examining the influence of society and the environment on self-destructive behavior from a philosophical perspective highlights the tension between individual freedom and societal constraints, as well as the profound impact of alienation and disconnection. It prompts us to consider how social and environmental factors can contribute to the existential dilemmas that individuals face, ultimately shaping their choices and responses to the challenges of existence. Philosophical inquiry into this topic encourages us to critically examine the complex interplay between the individual and the world that they inhabit. Chapter 3: Biological and Evolutionary Perspectives. Exploring the biological and evolutionary perspectives contributing to self-destructive behavior unveils a complex interplay between our primal instincts, biological predispositions, and the philosophical questions surrounding human existence. From a biological perspective, self-destructive behavior can be seen as a manifestation of our evolutionary heritage. Evolutionary psychology assumes as a fact that certain behaviors, even if they don't seem to adapt in today's context, may have had survival value in our ancestral past. For example, risk-taking behaviors or self-harm might have served as mechanisms to escape or cope with dangerous situations. This raises questions about the conflict between our primitive instincts and the demands of modern society. Are self-destructive behaviors a manifestation of an evolutionary relic that clashes with our contemporary understanding of well-being? How do we reconcile our biological heritage with our pursuit of meaning and happiness? Moreover, the concept of the self comes into focus when considering self-destructive tendencies from a philosophical angle. Existentialist thinkers such as Jean-Jacques Rousseau have contemplated the tension between our authentic selves and the roles imposed upon us by society. In this context, self-destructive behavior can be viewed as a rebellion against societal norms and expectations, a desperate attempt to reclaim one's authentic identity. Biological factors like neurotransmitter imbalances or genetic predispositions can also play a role in self-destructive behavior. Philosophically, this raises questions about determinism versus free will. If biology exerts a significant influence on our actions, to what extent are individuals morally responsible for their self-destructive choices? This philosophical debate challenges our notions of accountability and agency. Furthermore, evolutionary psychology suggests that our propensity for self-destructive behavior might be intertwined with the human search for meaning. Existentialist philosophers, such as Friedrich Nietzsche, have explored the idea of the will to power as a fundamental human drive. Self-destructive acts might be a distorted expression of this will to power, a desperate attempt to assert control or meaning in a seemingly indifferent universe. The question of suffering also emerges philosophically in this context. Existentialists like Viktor Frankl argue that suffering can have a transformative effect, leading individuals to discover profound meaning in their lives. However, When self-destructive behaviors arise from suffering, they challenge our understanding of how suffering can lead to meaning and growth. Examining the biological and evolutionary perspectives on self-destructive behavior through a philosophical lens forces us to grapple with profound questions about our primal instincts, the conflict between our biology and societal norms, the nature of the self, and the moral responsibility of individuals. Ultimately, it highlights the complex interplay between our biological heritage and our philosophical quest for purpose and authenticity in the modern world. Addressing self-destructive tendencies may involve a nuanced exploration of these philosophical themes and a recognition of the intricate relationship between our biology and our humanity. Chapter 4: Overcoming Self-Destructive Behaviors. Overcoming self-destructive behaviors is a profound philosophical journey that challenges our understanding of human nature, free will, and the pursuit of a meaningful existence. It calls upon us to grapple with questions about agency, suffering, and the very essence of what it means to be human. From a philosophical perspective, one of the central tenets in overcoming self-destructive behaviors is the notion of free will. Existentialist philosophers like Jean-Paul Sartre argue that individuals possess radical freedom, the ability to make choices even in the face of external determinants. Recognizing this freedom is the first step toward overcoming self-destructive tendencies. It entails taking responsibility for one's actions and acknowledging that, despite external influences, individuals have the power to choose differently. Existentialism also emphasizes the concept of authenticity, which involves living in accordance with one's true self and values. Overcoming self-destructive behaviors often requires a deep exploration of one's authentic desires and a commitment to aligning one's actions with those values. This philosophical journey is an ongoing process of self-discovery and self-acceptance. Another aspect to consider is the nature of suffering. Existentialist thinkers like Viktor Frankl propose that suffering can be transformed into meaning when it is confronted with purpose and resilience. In the context of overcoming self-destructive behaviors, this perspective encourages individuals to seek meaning in their struggles. It suggests that by addressing the root causes of self-destructive tendencies and finding purpose in life, individuals can transcend their suffering and find a path to healing. Additionally, the philosophy of empathy plays a crucial role in the journey toward overcoming self-destructive behaviors. Philosopher Simone Weil emphasized the importance of empathy as a way to bridge the gap between individuals and alleviate their suffering. Practicing empathy and seeking support from others can provide a sense of connection and belonging, which is often essential in breaking the cycle of self-destructive behaviors. Furthermore, existentialism prompts us to confront the existential void, the inherent meaninglessness of life. Overcoming self-destructive behaviors involves a philosophical exploration of one's place in the universe and the creation of personal meaning. This journey often requires introspection, introspective reflection, and a willingness to embrace the uncertainty of existence. Overcoming self-destructive behaviors is a profound and transformative endeavor. It involves embracing the principles of free will, authenticity, meaning-making, empathy, and a confrontation with the existential void. It calls upon individuals to navigate the intricate interplay between their philosophical beliefs and their lived experiences, ultimately guiding them toward a path of healing, self-discovery, and a more meaningful existence. Chapter 5: Conclusion. Despite our awareness of what is best for our well-being, we occasionally make choices that harm ourselves. This paradox arises from the intricate nature of human decision-making. Emotional influence, habitual patterns, impulsivity, peer pressure, addiction, low self-esteem, and a lack of awareness all play roles in this phenomenon. Strong emotions can lead us astray, and deeply ingrained habits can be difficult to break. Our impulsivity often prioritizes short-term gratification over long-term consequences. Social pressures can lead us to conform, and addiction can overpower our rational judgment. A negative self-image may cause us to self-sabotage, and sometimes we simply fail to fully grasp the consequences of our actions. Understanding these complexities is essential to making more informed, self-beneficial choices in our lives. If this video was of any help at all, please comment, like, and subscribe.